The civil war was done with. Olaf had won the trust of his people once again. Hafen had suffered great damage from the siege. The city was in ruins. Many families lost their homes. Some of the key buildings in the city were burned down or in ruins. Luckily, Olaf had the money to repair it all. He was already planning to return to Bredland and bring back even more riches. But before he did so, some reforms needed to be made. He called a meeting with his most trusted architects, engineers, and smiths. He had plans to expand the city and completely re-equip his men. One of his engineers had a great idea. He planned to construct a new, revolutionary vessel, one that would allow the Danes to travel faster, more efficiently, and in greater numbers. For a few months, everything went smoothly, as Olaf observed his men make progress in all areas. The first prototype of the new ship was made. It was bigger, faster, and more sophisticated than any other vessel the Norsemen had seen. The men willing to join the raid this year were more than any other time. They were eager to embark on a journey to the lands of the Romans and acquire many riches or die in battle and fight alongside their gods in Valhalla. One day, a middle-aged man appeared in Olaf's court. He spoke the language with a strange accent, one that Olaf had never heard before. His name was Galem, and he claimed to come from a tribe called the Picts, a longtime enemy of the Romans in Bredland. He told stories of the times he killed many Romans, trying to prevent them from conquering his homeland. He told Olaf of the ambush tactics his people used, a concept that Olaf wasn't familiar with. The Dane was fascinated by Galem and insisted on knowing more about him. Galem served King Talarg, king of the Picts. He was one of his most trusted generals. His people were in constant conflict with the Romans ever since they gained a foothold on the island more than 3 centuries ago. The Picts were inhabiting the lands north of the Roman border and were the last tribe preventing them from gaining full control of the island. King Talarg and his men won many battles against the Romans, as the environment allowed them to utilize skirmish and guerrilla tactics against them. One day, they had to face their enemy once again. It was a rainy day. The men were covered in mud and dirt. They engaged the Roman army as usual.
Remember your ancestors and take courage, for today they fight with us. Draw your weapons to venerate our forefathers. Artillery is the death of courage.
The battle hadn't been going for long when the Picts realized that they were being outnumbered. They had underestimated the Roman numbers. Many legionnaires fell, but the Pictish losses were so heavy that the line eventually broke and the men tried to flee. The battle was lost. The Pictish army was in flight. Galem and his king fought for as long as possible, side by side, but eventually Talarg ordered a retreat. In all the chaos, the two men started running in different directions. Galem looked backwards only to see his liege being captured by the Roman cavalry. For days, Galem roamed the wilderness. He was eventually able to find a group of merchants who agreed to take him to the lands of the Franks. The merchant ship was caught in a thunderstorm and sailed off course. That's how Galem found himself in Denmark. He started from the bottom, worked on a farmstead, until eventually he made enough money to settle down and start a family. It wasn't long since he got married when a plague struck and killed his wife. That same day, he realized that he was destined to go back to Breadland and fight the Romans.
Carve them to pieces, boys! This is my day of glory! I will not go to my death quietly!
Winter had come to an end, and the Danes were ready to return to Breadland. Olaf stood in front of his Viking army, joined by Rollo and Galem. A long journey was ahead. The Danes were going to try to find the Picts and ally with them against the Romans. Some were going to return swimming in gold. Others were going to fall in battle and join the gods in Valhalla.